Money Radio, discussing the business of making and spending money.
Good day to all of you following us on Leadership Podcast. This is the tourism segment of Money Radio. Yes, Money Radio brings you the latest in economic and financial issues around Nigeria. You're welcome. I'm your host, Case Hammond. In the studio with me are two gentlemen. To my right is Isaac Aimuri.
Pleasure to be here.
Thanks. And to my left, Jerry Emerson.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, we welcome everybody. We may be joined by a guest. His name is Dr. Saidu Bello. He may join us as we proceed. So today we are talking about medical tourism. We have figures reeled out by the authorities that over the past 10 years, Nigerians spent $30 billion on medical tourism abroad. Another figure says every year Nigerians spend $1.2 billion. All of that money is going out. We are looking at two aspects or two-way traffic today. Inbound medical tourism and outbound medical tourism. So, before we go on, Jerry, tell us, what is medical tourism?
Okay, basically, medical tourism has to do with when an individual, a person leaves his country, to another country for medical reasons. Yes, that's
All right, thank you. Isaac, what is the impact? How impactful is medical tourism on the Nigerian economy? We want to look at the positives and the negatives.
Yeah, well, you started by reading out some mind-boggling figures, and I wasn't surprised. And I also believe that many Nigerians who are abreast of developments in this country are also not surprised, because politicians are the ones taking the lead, in this venture that we'll call medical tourism. However, I wish to say that medical tourism is actually a global product. Okay, so it exists to be taken by anybody and everybody. So you can actually move from one place to the other to seek improved healthcare, that you cannot find in your country. But the part that worries me, as a journalist, is the fact that it is almost a one-way traffic. Okay, Nigerians spend more,
Outbound medical tourism,
than we receive. Okay, so one would have expected that those who plan our policies, those who design, programs, in government, would have since worked on this, by coming up with measures that will check this capital flight, because that is what it is. So we are losing money. And from some experiences these stories we've read about some people who have traveled abroad, sometimes what they actually get, the value they get for these trips they make, okay, are here in Nigeria.
Yes.
So if you go online now, you see all kinds of packages, medical packages for people. They say come to India and come to China, and all that. They are even scamming Nigerians now. And they just take you there, they lodge you in a 5-star hotel, give you treatment that is also available in Nigeria, perhaps for the psychological appeal that you get. And so that is it. So I think we can do better.
Yeah.
If our policy, those in charge of our policies, those in government can actually sit back and see how we can check this capital flight, and keep much of this money in the economy, especially now that we are looking for how to
say foreign exchange. Yeah, you made an interesting point that some of the services Nigerians go out there seeking are actually here. I give you an instance. There is an eye hospital in Lagos. The story is told, and it's a true story, of how somebody went to that eye clinic, and because this guy who went there seeking service had money, when the offer was made to him, this is how much it will cost, and this so and so person will perform the operation. He said, I can never do an operation like that in Nigeria. And I said, we do this thing here, it's simple. He said, I can never do it in Nigeria. And so they gave him, the person, the doctor who should have done it, gave him this reference letter to a clinic in London. And this guy took the reference letter to that clinic. When he got there, and the doctor in London saw the name of the person who made, who referred him. He said, this person, why did he refer you here? He could have even done a better job than I would do. Yes. So the hospital is just there in Lagos. I have had experiences with that hospital. So sometimes actually we spend unnecessarily seeking these services abroad. We promised we would have a guest on. His name is Dr. Saidu Bello. Doctor, you are welcome.
Thank you very much.
Yes.
Thank you for having me. I hope I'm clear.
Yes, you are.
Yes.
Okay, thank you very much. I'm happy. I'm happy to be with you.
Yeah, thank you very much, sir. So in the studio here with me, Jerry and Isaac, and I am Hammond. So you're welcome, and I'm sure our followers welcome you also. So, sir, we're talking about medical tourism. How much is the country losing? First of all, we know we have a two-way traffic, because I can bear witness that some, especially West Africans, come here seeking medical tourism. But like my colleague I just mentioned, it seems to be majorly a one-way traffic. That means more Nigerians go out than foreigners come in. So we would like you to discuss the issues. How much is going out?
Thank you very much. It's a very nice, very interesting topic, and a very important one. I will actually like to approach the topic from my experience generally, and also from the perspective of the fact that I'm also a specialist, and that also undertake some of the high-tech surgeries that are available abroad. There are a lot of factors. First of all, before we blame people, we have to be very realistic about life. Now, there is an adage, I don't know whether to call it, is a simple adage that cut across all tribes, which is everybody wants the best for him or herself. It's a natural law.
Yes.
It's a natural law. Now, if I'm sick and I want the best for myself, and I have the money and I have the means, is there a reason why I will not go to any part of the world to have the best for myself?
Of course you would.
And will that be a sin? Will I offend anybody? Will I go against any law? So that is the first perspective to the issue of medical tourism. And no matter what we do, I can assure you forever, people will continue to move to wherever they feel they can get service. The only thing is that because we know that very few people are usually privileged in every society. Privilege in the sense that in the sense of being able to bankroll this kind of, either in form of having the financial capability, or they have the wherewithal in terms of power, because sometimes some people outside power may not be able to undertake this themselves, but by virtue of being of them being engaged in a particular aspect of the society, be it government or a corporate world that is very capable, that is one perspective. But basically, before we rush to blame people, I will want to see medical tourism as a phenomenon that is natural.
Okay,
I hope I'm making my point clear.
Yes. Follow-up question, which is,
yes,
how can we be the best, or the country that that is offering the best healthcare service that other people will also that other people will seek? Okay.
Thank you very much. So initial definition, that is with my insinuation that naturally people always gravitate towards where they can get, just like you are giving an example of somebody that went to London and things like that. That's the natural tendency naturally to want to say is greener at the other end. But we have facilities in Nigeria that are doing well. I am a living witness. I had an high-tech surgery, orbital fracture management yesterday, and definitely for people that witnessed the surgery, they were happy that so this could be done in Nigeria. Now you find out that if we can have all these facilities like this are coming up, and people can begin to have confidence, because no matter how, in medicine, you are not allowed to advertise, because it is believed that whatever you are doing advertises itself. Now, if these facilities are coming up, people go there today, they have good service, they discover that why should they go to London if they can get this? Gradually, this thing will just be building up. You see, people want to assume that we can never have perspective, because if the facilities are good, with time, there's a tendency that people will want to acquire, people will want to access these services, and before you know it, it continues to increase. So I'm one that does not believe government can do everything, but there are two parts to it. The government, yes, can do whatever they can do, but private individuals too can also, for instance, building hospitals is not the work of doctors. Many people may not even know, because in Nigeria, we want to assume once you're a doctor, they'll be asking where is your hospital, because they assume that it's doctor that should actually have hospitals. How much can a doctor make to be able to build a big hospital with a well-equipped facility? Is almost impossible. It is investors. So we begin to, if we're actually aspiring to a nation that will be providing medical tourism from other countries, the very first thing is investment. So we should begin to think, people should begin to know, and all of us, including those of you in the studio, if you have opportunity, we should begin to know that it is investors that can have big money, that can build big hospitals, and they can build 2-3 CT scans, 2-3 MRI, and they'll be able to employ doctors and pay them well. So these are the issues. Many people go to India. It may interest you. When they go to India, they don't go to government hospitals. They go to hospitals that are built over time by investors and not by doctors. So that is probably one thing we miss in this our environment. For instance, me, I'm a son of a peasant farmer. Yes, I became a doctor. First of all, I had to struggle to buy television, buy boiling ring, and buy iron. So after that, gradually, I will struggle to marry. Is that where exactly will I make big money that will now be big hospital? You discover that before I made the best I will do is I will build a one small hospital. At the end of the day, time will be over for me. So if we want to,
all right,
so that's the area we have to be looking to area of investment if we want to make our nation a medical tourism destination for many other countries. That's my take.
Very, very valid point, Doc. I think we now have to have that conversation. You know, the private sector, that is the investors this time, the organized private sector, the players there, you know, then government, you know, then of course the doctors.
Yeah.
Okay. We need to start having, that conversation, so that see how they can put their money down, to build hospitals, for doctors to come and operate.
The doctor said something that we have the facility, but I'd like to ask.
Before you ask, let's take a short break. Doctor, please stay with us. We want to have a short break to hear our listeners.
All right.
So please stay with us. We'll be right back and continue this lively discussion.
Money Radio, discussing the business of making and spending money.
Welcome back, viewers. Welcome back.
Welcome back.
Thank you, Doctor, for staying with us. You may go ahead.
I'd like to ask this question. It's actually about brain drain.
It's a pleasure.
Because recently there was this recruitment. It was online that a certain country came into Nigeria to recruit our doctors. So, what would you say about brain drain, in the health sector, and how it is affecting the sector?
Thank you very much. First of all, I have a question for you, for those of you in the studio.
Okay.
If your child is playing ball, are you with me?
Yeah.
Are you with me?
Yeah,
we're with you.
Yes. If your child is playing ball, then the child boy now has the option to play for between Kano Pillars and Arsenal. Which one will be your choice?
Doc, for me, it is. Let us individualize it.
Yes.
For patriotism's sake, I may decide to play for Kano Pillars.
Very good. Any other sake?
I will allow my son play for Arsenal.
Thank you very much. See, why I bring that analogy. You see, the question of brain drain is also a natural law. It is unfortunate that we belong to a developing world. Do you know
Yes,
that?
adjust your
Yes.
camera. Could you adjust your camera a bit so that our viewer can actually see you?
Is it better?
Yeah.
Thank you.
Okay. So now, really, the two answers are very correct. From patriotism perspective, yes, canopilas. But you agree with me that if you put down this patriotism and begin to dissect it, you find out that human beings want a lot of things in life. And if maybe very few people may pass the test of patriotism when we bring materialism. Are you following? Definitely, I'm in Nigeria, not because I don't have a choice of going to Saudi Arabia like others. I'm a consultant. I'm a specialist. The same bait they throw it at everybody, because they say come to Saudi Arabia and you get ×3 what we are getting here monthly. So, but you see, just like you said, there are many factors, and we still have many of us in Nigeria. What I can only say, our government can only try. The only problem is that even no matter how much they pay doctors, don't forget, you are also a member of this society. Even when you say doctors are not well paid, you will still want to argue that but doctor's salary is still more than my own. So you understand something like that. So you find out that we have a basic problem of us being a third world, and wherever there's a tendency for people to go to wherever they can make better gains with the same certificate without having another certificate. So that is the reason why brain drain. Nobody has not been able to stop brain drain for ages. For me, it's not new. I left medical school almost 30 years ago, and more than 50% of my colleagues are in UK and America. Even
All right.
yes, people have been talking about what can we do? What can we do to stem it?
All right. One last question.
Yes.
Given our population, some people believe that if you can get health insurance right, then we'll be able to bring in the money in the informal sector, and that way we'll have enough funds to actually reposition our health sector, for the benefit of everyone, especially practitioners like you. What's your take on that?
Oh, absolutely. I align totally with health insurance, and I actually have a little experience with it. At least there are some hospitals. There are some hospitals. I am a physical consultant. I'm a surgeon. I'm a facial surgeon, and there are some hospitals, eyebrow, that have some degree of insurance. You find out that there's a better tendency, because it's actually very difficult for a sick man to go and look for money. You are in the studio, I'm in the car, is because we are well. If we are sick, we cannot be in the studio. I cannot be talking to you. So it is that same time that we will now when a man is sick, they say go and look for money for treatment. It's a very difficult thing. And even developed world, while we are developed world where there's a better accessibility to healthcare, is because of insurance system. Okay. So I totally align with improvement on our healthcare, our health insurance system. Once we can get it right, because the doctors too, we have more work to do. Then lesser number of doctors we have reason to go out, because they will be more comfortable. Even if you talk about salary, it doesn't have to be salary. They can work more in private sector and make more money.
Yes. Buy beer, plenty bottles of beer to buy kwabi, pepper soup, and all of that, so that we can keep some of this money aside and put it in health insurance.
Honestly, I totally agree. Health insurance, it is. Once you can get it right, our health will improve. Our health will improve. The doctors too will get more work to do. and we are going to have a healthier society, because people won't be afraid of going to hospital again. Once they have slightest issue,
That's much time will allow us to take for now. Thank you so much for
all right,
contribution.
all right,
Very grateful.
all right.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Yeah.
All right, thank you very much. Thanks for having me.
Thanks for
Yeah,
illuminating this conversation.
All right, all right.
Yeah. So, Isaac,
Okay.
Doctor has made some salient points there.
Yes.
But we have been talking about outbound tourism. There are inbound tourism also. People come to Nigeria.
It's largely informal. We do not even have the records.
Yes, we don't
We don't
have
have
the
the
records.
data.
We don't have the
People
records.
just cross the border. Yeah, in one. And let's also forget, we're not just talking about orthodox medicine. We're not just talking about when you say healthcare. You know,
What kind of medicine are you talking about?
traditional medicine is
Give us some examples.
Of course, you want to know it. You see the agbo sellers we have in Lagos. I mean, that's one big economy.
Yeah.
You know, that would not factor into our computation of
There isn't
that
much.
sector.
There isn't much of that
Yes.
that sector
Yes.
covered in the GDP.
Yes,
That-
that is it. You know, it's large informal, so we've not captured it.
Yeah.
Okay, so I think we need to do that. People travel from here to Benin Republic, you know, to get all kinds of medicine, from love charm to medicine for stomach, you know, for teeth and all that.
Is that so?
So yes,
For
yes,
success.
yes,
For
yeah, for success. Yes, sure. So it depends on what people believe in. Okay.
Yeah, but really, the trend has to be reversed. Nigeria is losing much. Like the figure said, 11 billion. Nigerians spent 11 billion
mind-boggling.
on tourism
And
over the past 10 years.
About 576 billion yearly.
Yes.
Yeah. The House Representative for Health,
Committee on Health.
in the Committee on Health, Sunuku, I think that is his name.
Okay, the chairperson.
The chairperson of he mentioned that recently. In fact, he even gave credit to COVID-19 that last year Nigeria would have lost $500 million to outbound health tourism. It's just because the skies were empty,
Of course.
because of COVID-19. That
Of course.
restrictions.
Restrictions and
There
all
were
that.
restrictions.
Yeah.
People
So
weren't
like the
allowed.
doctor rightly said, we need to have that conversation. You know, let the private sector people come in. Then we need to formalize. We need to drive health insurance.
Yeah, that is an important
Yeah,
point.
we have
The
so much
doctor
money
said
that we are throwing around.
Yeah, the
you know,
doctor
on
said,
things that are not really,
people
are not
depend
really
on
important.
doctors as investors.
Yes.
People depend on doctors as investors. If you say you are a doctor, where is your hospital? As if you are supposed to be the
Yes,
investors,
yes,
but that shouldn't be.
Yes.
Investors, people
Yeah.
who spend money
We need
on
we need
things
that
that
that's a
they
new thinking.
that should be a new thinking.
Yes.
Instead of spending money on frivolous things, you can pump it into building hospitals. And there's so much money in the private sector there.
Equipping them as well as training and retraining
Yeah,
these doctors.
yes.
Especially at the primary healthcare level.
Yeah.
At the state
But the
level,
truth is, if you can get your primary healthcare sector right,
Yeah, it builds from there. Yeah.
much of the things you take to specialist hospitals actually can be taken care of.
After the
Primary.
healthcare. And that means also giving a lot for the state governments, allowing the local governments
Yeah.
to make use of what is lawfully theirs, not keeping the thing at the state level. That means
But in Nigeria, you know, the
you
primary
staff
healthcare
the
agency, yeah,
there's the local governments that are responsible for the primary health
yeah.
in Nigeria. So you can't be starving the
We need
local
to set our
governments.
priorities right, really.
We
even
need
as a
to.
country.
We need to. I hope we can talk about this issue some other time.
Yeah.
That's the much we can take this afternoon. Thanks for being here, Isaac and Jerry. Thanks to
Thank
you
you.
for listening to us and for always following us. You are our greatest supporter. Thanks to you, our producers. And thanks to you, Dr. Seidu Bello, for joining us today. Thank you very much for opening our eyes to the fact that much can be held here if there is that investment. And you made another point there about health insurance, which he
It's the way to
explained.
go, actually.
Yeah, that's the way to
It's the
go.
way to go.
Thanks for being with us. Do join us tomorrow for another bumper edition of Money Radio. We'll be here with you, and stay blessed.